This episode is going to be focusing on that, on what hobbies or other interests can best help improve that of your level design. Hey everyone, I hope you're well, playing and making the game that you all love. You're joining me, your host, Principal Mission Designer, Max Bass. Pleasure to be chatting with you all today. Day's a little bit hectic. Again, sorry, the room's not the best looking at the moment, and this is recorded just before I head off to Dev and Gamescom, which I think this episode will be released like either while I'm out there or just after I come back. Very excited doing a presentation and talk with friends and former alumni of the show, Johnny Wilson. So we'll be talking about unifying visions. How do you do that? Best practices within your teams as well as other teams as well for it. So very exciting, very interesting topic, very different as well for it. So quite excited to see this one. It's because the fact that we've both been contracting many years, myself about 4 years now, just roughly, and Johnny was 3 years. So we've worked in many different studios with different people and kind of things we've learned from that and what we've learned in when you're onboarding. So it's very exciting for it. There will be a video of that out later as well, so I'm excited to share that. That will be in the Talks YouTube playlist where you'll see all my previous talks that I've given as well. Very excited. Got my little Final Fantasy VII t-shirt on as well today. For those of you who are listening to the audio and ever wondering about my fashion sense and style. Yeah, so a little bit busy. You can't see behind me, but there is a suitcase that is almost packed and ready to go for it. But today's topic, really exciting, because it's a little bit different. We obviously talk about different elements in terms of what we make, how we make it, communication, other aspects for it. But I'm seeing a lot of people wonder what can they do to obviously improve themselves as LDs, right? And I think for me, it's that element of, well, there's other hobbies we can do to best improve ourselves, right? What is it we can do to be better for it? So we'll go through a list of them for it, some ones that I think are really good ones, and a nice simple episode for it. But first, let's have a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is none other than me. What I've done, everyone, and I hope you're excited for this, is I've actually created a level design kind of store. What I've done in this store is put up different kinds of tips and tricks that you can find there, whether that be my actual ebook itself, to that of level design pamphlets focused on different things such as traversal, stealth, breaking into the industry, as well as different talks that I have done which you cannot find anywhere else other than on this store. So if you are looking to improve on your level design skills and processes, then check out the Level Design Store, which will be down in the description below, where there'll be a link to find this. All you need to do is head over to gumroad.com/level design lobby. I hope you like what you see, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thank you, and now back to the show. So the first one that I want to talk about, I think, is actually photography and cinematography, right? The art of these is really important because it's about composition. How do you compose a shot, right? And obviously in games, you're constantly moving, but still when you think about composition, that really helps with guidance and showing the player where it is they need to go, or maybe where the solution is for them. So having an understanding, I don't know if I can move my head. I've got some, again, in the YouTube video, you can see some cameras behind me, and above that is actually some books on cinematography as well. I think Master Shots is one of my personal favorite ones for it. Really enjoyed those ones. And I've got a few, two cameras, one which is like big DSLR when I'm off on big kind of trips, and other ones that I have like small compact that I take around with me and try to take shots. But it's really important to, again, help with composition, help with that of understanding framing for it, and making sure it's how do we draw actual eyes to a certain subject. It was really useful for it. I think I have a video, I'll have it put up, But if you look at a prototype I did here on Hellblade 2, you can see that I've actually practiced with a camera on a subject and then translated that into actual gameplay. Obviously, Hellblade 2 was really focused on the cinematics of its presentation, and that was a really cool experience for me to do. Roger Deakins is one of my favorite. I think I've mentioned to a few times, you have to pay now, sadly, for it. We didn't have to at one point. That was called Shot Deck. Shot Deck has like all these incredible shots from films, really focusing on the cinematographer. Roger Deakins, especially if you're English, is a huge and well-known name. And then Greg Fraser, who I believe is Australian or Kiwi, Oceanic region, with his work on the Batman and I believe it was Dune series as well, has composed some incredible shots. So I think that's the very first one. Photography and cinematography, some good examples there. Again, you don't need a huge big camera. You can literally buy disposable Kodak cameras if you wanted to for it. There's some great videos up on YouTube as well. So I think that's a great one. I've even got some photography books above my head as well. Yeah, so that would be the first one that I recommend to all of you to check out. Get into the habit of, you've got a phone, God, why am I telling you to get Kodak when you've got a phone, right? Like, there's got so much elements that we can use there. So that would be the first one. The next one I'd say is architecture itself. I think architecture is so important with what we do. I think most of my games, actually, all bar one, maybe, has had huge like architectural references when you well, actually there's less now that I think about with the mobile game stage, but when I've gotten through AA, AAA, Division was based all in New York, right? So you had to focus on how did they make it, what kind of style it was. Then from Division we went to Cyberpunk, and we had architects working with us who actually broke down what each section of the map in Night City, what was their architectural style. So understanding that really helped for it. Obviously, it's not necessarily architectural style, but Hellblade was based in Iceland. So obviously, there's a lot of elements in there about understanding it, but again, it wasn't necessarily architecture. Geology is probably a separate one, but can be useful for it. But we've got obviously great resources like 101 Things I Learned at Architecture School, 101 Things I Learned at Urban Design School. I have these two cards that are really set of cards, like 50 Urban Blocks by A plus T, and their other one, 50 House Floor Plans, which again, really useful all in all for it. I've definitely taken inspirations from these, as you can see what they provide. If for those of you listening, basically what these are, they are cards that have floor plans on them, kind of big-sized playing cards, but you can basically have a great use of these as they allow you to see different floor plans for it as well. So you can use that as a great inspiration for it as you move through your process. And I think it's a really important one to see how different floor plans are designed, as I'm trying to get the camera to focus on it. So, there's a lot of incredible things there that I really just recommend for it. But learning these architectural styles is important, how to read buildings, because again, we may not need to know every small detail about them, but learning the different architectural styles, modernism, postmodernism, we've obviously got Tudor style, and all these ones for it. And it helps you understand, one, how these buildings are made, two, how to lay out their purpose, and some great overall spaces and how to actually use them correctly in their construction. So I really do recommend architecture, some great books again, and out that for it. So just the basics, nothing huge, but again, learning from that one. I think a sub one from that as well is interior design. I know it doesn't sound that interesting, but Architectural Digest, which is a bit more hoity-toity, focusing on celebrity houses and builds, but does have some great interior designers, again, showing why they choose certain things and how they can reflect certain emotions. And it has a much more clearer communication style for us and the artists as well, because when you're talking with them now, it's a lot more detailed versus like the artist feels they're cleaning up our grey box mess, right? Well, that's what I would look at for it as well. Architecture alongside photography is a great one, photography/cinematography. The next one would be looking at to writing as well. obviously it depends, right? Like narrative is delivered very differently in every different game, right? When working on multiplayer, it wasn't as important, obviously, when you kind of hinted at it a little bit, but it's really, really important that you do figure out how to sell stories for that. So try a bit of writing, try study a bit of screenwriting. A Story by Robert McKee, sorry, is a very famous book about like the kind of structure and arcs there. So take some time to learn a bit about that. I think is really important for it. I think those are the main ones. I do actually recommend acting a little bit. Not huge. You don't need to become a thespian for it, but having the elements like we did at CD Projekt Red, an improv class. I think it's really important. The reason I recommend it is actually because of communication. It can help you understand, project, be clearer with your words, expressive with your body language. Obviously, it's famous for animators to act a scene out before they animate versus, say, an LD. But by expressing that passion with it, you can definitely get across what you're after, right? And I think that's another one to play around with. I don't think it's as high as the other ones, but I think it is worth checking out. Another one is drawing. Now, the one that I've been trying to learn recently is actually more isometric drawing. Got myself a protractor and gridded books ready to sketch away. The reason that I've personally gone for isometric is just to help me demonstrate a space for it, is where doing quick sketches and just trying to be better for it. So yeah, and just help sell a space in a 2D form, shall we say, or 2.5D now in isometric. So these are the things that I'm trying to think about. It is one that I've only recently picked up, so I don't know how fully useful it'll be just yet, but it is very much in the works of what I'd recommend people to try. I've also seen other just LD friends of mine just be good artists and drawers in general, so it can be any style. I'm just telling you the one that I'm doing at the moment. Again, just helping me communicate how I go through a space and selling a space to other teammates as well for that. Trying to think anything else. I do think hiking's a good one, just not only for your health but also for seeing more spaces as well. But I think those are the kind of four main ones for it in terms of what I think can really help us all be that of better LDs for it. If other people have interesting hobbies, please let me know. I think it'd be fascinating to learn ones out there. But as I said, photography / cinematography, I think are really important ones. Same with architecture and urban design. Two other ones to learn about. And then third one obviously being writing, fourth one acting, and then kind of fifth one would be drawing as well. So yeah, I hope that has been useful for you. Obviously it's a little bit different than we usually do, and obviously the episode's a little bit shorter than necessarily want it to be, but again, TikTok time is of the essence for it. And I hope that you found this useful. Something a little bit different, some ones that I think have helped me throughout my space for it as well. Yeah, still not perfect, still room to grow on everything myself. And yeah, I hope that you have enjoyed this one. Another good month of episodes. I hope that you have you like the show. If you do want to reach out to me, then please do so either at leveldesignlobby@gmail.com or through that of Twitter at MaxPairs. I'll try and get back as fast as I can. Things have been a bit hectic on my side. And yeah, keep up the good work, everyone. Appreciate it in you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.